Hey, rise and thrivers. Welcome to Monday, January 13th. It is the second week already in January, and here we are, episode 89. So before we start, just in case you don't know who we are by now, we are Rise and Thrive together. We are a vibrant community out to empower and educate and equip you to have the life that you want through real talk by taking real actions. All right, here we are, straight in, sis. Welcome. Nice to see you today. Love your hair. Love the color pink on you. You
Thank
look
you.
fabulous.
Thank you. Hi, Rise and Thrivers. I kind of sound like myself, a little normal today, but it's touch and go. So if I morph into Rodney, please don't panic. Mm, it's all right. But we are on our topic this month of identifying who you are separate from what you do. And last week we had some interesting conversation with our listening audience, and that was absolutely incredible about identifying who you are and how adolescents don't know who they are. So they're trying on all these different personalities, which is absolutely true. And then it takes time to get to figure out who you are, and it takes introspection. And it takes you really and truly wanting to make a change and a difference and figuring out what it is that you want to do and all of this stuff. So, we're going to continue that conversation and unpacking the heavy topics about who you are. And I want to jump right on in and say, well, sis, what did you do? We talked about having to do introspection, and what is it that you've done to kind of get a grasp and a hold of who you are separate from what you do.
Oof, I got to tell you, you can't even begin to like know how perfect the conversation is, right? Like we said last week, for those listeners watching, this is something that Raquel, brought up probably about a week or so right before our first show. And then we had it. There we go last week. And I literally like felt empowered. And then like all of a sudden was like lost. Like, who am I? Like, what do I want to be when I grow up? Right. And it's been really fun. So the introspection for myself has been a little bit of like getting to know me through some conversations, as just in case you're listening from last week, of through others. So I've had some really powerful conversations with people I know well, who reached out to me and, about my everyday work, right? What's going on. And I have that thing of like, what do I want to do when I, grow up? And they reflected back for me, right? Like to give me back my power, to remind me that it's not like, what am I going to do? Like, what do I want to be
Mhm.
when I grow up, kind of thing. But really, like, hey, like this is boom, how we see you. Here are some circumstances, here are some life things, here are some things, but who you are for me, how I view you is X, Y, and Z. And it's great to listen to, right? It's great to hear in our brain. But then you like kind of, like you say, I got to sit back and kind of do that introspection and really like first what I did was say, I own this. Like, I really own this. I became like, yes, this is who I am. Although that little brain in that head was like, what are they talking about? Like, what are they, you know what I mean? Like, the two disconnects. And that's really what I wanted to talk about, right? Because we kind of touch base on it. We get it when we're adolescents. But there was a disconnect for me. And so I was like, okay, that's some of who I am. And like, what would that look like if I owned that, put that on like a new hairstyle or fresh coming out of the shower, all cleaned off, and really embrace that? And that's what I've been doing the whole entire from last Monday to this Monday, embracing the incredible, woman that I am, that, no matter
Mhm.
what circumstances are happening, no matter life, I love what you're saying, life is life and at me, you know,
Mm.
am I? Right? Like, who am I? What do I bring to myself? And like you said, being a powerful disruptor of disempowering conversations. And I really kind of like was like, yeah, I'm that. Like, I'm that. Like, that's why we have our show, right? We're out to educate, empower, and equip people. So I'm like, I just did all of that, like all week of like noticing, oh, wait, every time I'm like, nope, can't, nope, I don't know. Like I just caught myself and then just was like, I also put up stickers. I wish I could show you behind the curtain, but I found some really great stickers about, you know, don't want to curse, but you're a bad a bop, 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 powerful woman, right? You shine, shine your bright light, all of these things like who I say I am. And then I found a magazine and I started cutting out those words and I literally painted that, painted, I put them on with tape on like a couple of mirrors because every morning I wake up and I brush my teeth, right? So there they
Mm,
are for me. So thanks for asking. So I made it fun. I made it really fun.
right,
So doesn't mean I wake up that way like you came on right now saying I may sound a certain way, but that doesn't define you, right? It doesn't
right.
define you. Right. So yeah, I'm curious for you, sis. Like, what did you do for yourself?
Went to therapy.
Nice. Yeah.
Period. End of story. And just started recognizing who I am. And some of the questions, because I've got two questions that I had to ask myself is, would I feel valued without my job or family obligations? Because when we identify as our job and as our family, like I am a wife, I am a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a this, I'm an accountant, I'm a advertising agent, or what have you. When you are ready to identify who you are, ask yourself, would I feel valued without my job or family obligations? And whatever your
Mm.
response is, the only person you'd be lying to at that point is you, because there's really nobody else listening, right? And another question to ask is, do I base my introduction or validation on my roles? Meaning, when you introduce yourself to someone, is that introduction or that validation on my roles? Do you base it on your roles? But people say, "Hi, so tell me about yourself." They do that in interviews all the time. They say, "So tell me a little bit about you." Or they'll say, "Tell me something about you that's not on your resume." Because see, it's easy
Yes.
for us to fall back on our resume or our CV, but as soon as they ask that, "Well, tell me something about you that's not on your resume." Listen, I try to do things not because I want to tell people what's not on my resume, but I do things because I just wanna try them. So when they ask me that question, I haven't been on a job interview in a while, and one of the things I tell them now is, "I walked across hot coals." And they're like, "What? Tell me about that." And that gives you insight into who I am. Nobody's voluntarily
Yeah.
walking across hot coals except, some people.
Yeah.
Um, but it gives who I am as a fierce interrupter. We talked about this of disempowerment. I find it to be my mission to help people feel empowered so they get to live the life they want to live. It's who I am. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm a life coach, an educator, none of that, right?
Yeah. I also want to
Wait,
like just
wait,
add
we've got
for,
a,
add for you. We're getting double
oh,
echo
okay.
today, at least I hear it. No, I just want to add, as you say, for others, and I'm going to say because you kind of threw in the therapy thing for you as well, right? A fierce interrupter for yourself of disempowering conversations. Because once you get the highest self for you, then boom, you're right out there. So thank you for that, and thank you for sharing that. And I just quickly before we get into the comments, so hey guys, here's real talk. Raquel wasn't, on like 2 minutes before the show. So I've been checking in to make sure she's good. Life happens. And she's like, oh, I'm coming off a call. And I quickly, looked up something. And the first question, which I wanted you to go back to, you had two really powerful questions. So I want to slow it down and unpack that since we've got a ton of viewers on, was the same exact question that came up. The first question that you were asking about, like, defining yourself. Oh, can you read that again? Just read that first question that you said.
Would I feel valued without my job or family obligations?
If I
One
tell
more
you, if I could
time.
show you my
Would
phone.
I feel valued, yeah, without my job or family obligations?
Yes. Yes, I love it.
That's
And thanks, Susan, right? Because I did that on
and now,
purpose.
yeah, and now guess what? We've got another way for you to identify yourself.
Ooh, let's do it. You got the book. Raquel got your copy.
It's our Rise and Thrive Together journal. This journal is built and created on love from four amazing individuals with inspiring quotes and lines for you. And you won't see it because of my lighting, and my lighting sucks, but it's okay. Take my word for it. They're inspiring quotes and weekly reflections in this journal for you to talk to you about. If you want to share it with others, that's great. But if you want to keep what you're writing in here for you to do reflection, absolutely go ahead. But while you're doing that, help us out. Give a gift to a friend too. But with this journal, journaling is absolutely something that helped me in addition to therapy.
Yeah, I want to add, we write weekly reflections, but they're your reflections based on what Raquel is talking about. They are specific questions that the four of us have worked on and chose intentionally. So you reflect from those questions, like Raquel was just sharing earlier. Like, so yeah, I love it. I'm so happy she finally got hers in her hand. And lots of people, I'm proud to say, and I'll do just a moment, that a really good friend of ours, Johnny Regan, came to my house on Sunday so I can officially hand it to him because he won our challenge in December. And then he shared his beautiful gift as well. So, yep, threw it up there, everybody. We are asking, hey, you're on here, you watch this show, you check in, come support us because I'm clear. Ah, awesome. Thanks. So, yep, here we go. Genevieve, you are the something already, my love.
Shh. That's what you are. You're the stuff.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
Well, on my end, I'm
That's
like,
why I'm here. That's why I'm here. She's like, the what? You are the bowel movement.
and then Susan says, "You are all grown up. No need for that. For that other somewhat disparaging question." Absolutely, Susan. And I said that on purpose, right? Like when the little voice inside my head goes, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Like that's absolutely. So thank you for that. That's awesome. But let's really unpack that great question because let's put that out to the audience. Everybody who's on replay or anybody right now watching, I love that first question. So repeat that again, please. Oh, I think Raquel is frozen. She's got that beautiful frozen. I think she was sharing earlier, and if anybody wants to put that in the chat, if you were watching the show, that she had said, like, how are you defining yourself? Like, if you did not have a job, right, and a family, how would you define yourself? Really would love to know. Thank you, Susan here, Genevieve here, and a bunch of other people that are watching. I know them personally, right? They're more than just my friends. Rebecca's got this great face right now, frozen. I love it. I don't even know she knows that she's frozen. And let me know, guys, if I'm frozen and if I'm just speaking into the air. But how do you define yourself? My question was like, if you lost your job tomorrow, if you do not have a job right now, if you are currently retired, right? All of these titles, how do you define yourself? This is what we're here for, looking at the identity of who you are. And they tend to be in these roles. So I love what Raquel said. I love how Raquel had shared We say we're a friend, we're a mother, we're a coach, we're a chef, all of those things. But we are more than that. Thank you, Susan Schaefer. This is why we call Rise and Thrive Together. Do you feel valued? Thank you, Susan. If you didn't have a job or family, I love it. Do you feel valued if you didn't have a job or family? And that's a really fantastic question, as Raquel so vulnerably shared, real talk, that she went to therapy and this is what she's, working through and having some conversations in, like, are you feeling valued if you didn't have a job or a family? And I'm putting it out there. So if anybody wants to write their thoughts, I know for myself, again, we did not talk since last Monday. She's been going through her things. I've been having my things. And it's a conversation that my husband and I had very deep yesterday, very deep on our day off, being able to say how we define ourselves as a couple, how we define ourselves individually, you know? And it's really, really beautiful conversation that it was like, if I was not here, if I was not on this planet, then you no longer have me as your wife. Do you feel valued? And that really comes within. Let's see, we got some great answers. All of the above for me today. I am a force and I am unstoppable. Thank you, Genevieve. Yeah, she did the all the above. I must have hit on some points, and that doesn't define her, right? That doesn't define her. I know Genevieve personally, and she personally is like, hey, currently not working, right? Currently does not have a spouse in her life, but that doesn't define her. Who she is right now for herself today, that she makes as a declaration: I am a force and I am unstoppable, with big giant hearts filled with love. Let's see. Colleen is saying, as a recent empty nester, because we talked about empty nesting, I am learning to redefine myself. All right, Colleen, you are learning to redefine herself. So, anything, Colleen, as a recent empty nester, right? Having that question, like she said, do you feel valued? If you right now, well, do you feel valued as a recent empty nester? And how would you like to declare yourself and define yourself right now in the moment? Only you get to say. Welcome back, Raquel. Can you hear us? She's slowly coming in and out. All right, you're back. Awesome. You still here? Awesome. So Susan greatly said, do you feel valued if you didn't have a job? She's leaving us again. She's just having, here we go. So here's the thing. I have a co-host right on the court right now. I have a co-host. So do I feel valued that my co-host is not here on the show? Right? Do I define myself as a Rise and Thrive Together live webcaster? Because Raquel and I have a company together and we call it Rise and Thrive Together. You know? Yeah, I do. I feel valued. I know I'm valued. Why? Because I say so. Now, that sounds easy, and we know that it's not. So, what are some of the things that stop us? So, that's the question. What are some of the things that have you not feel valued? And I think Raquel started answering that, but what are those? Introspection question number one is, what are some of those things? So start to really define those questions. Really start to define those disempowering, what like we use in our coaching world and our social work world, you know, the disempowering, things that we say about ourselves, or the outside, like Raquel was sharing last week. And even we were touching upon, what do other people say? So we've gave that challenge out there, other people. So here we go. Susan says that she declares oneself. Great concept. Not the same as define. Thank you, Susan. Western culture doesn't teach us how to say who we are without our roles. Love that. Great, Susan. Fantastic. Thank you for showing, saying that difference, and really distinguishing that for the audience. What is the difference from declaring oneself to defining? It's a declaration. Hey, welcome back, sis. Welcome back. We got lots of great movement here, right?
Hey, thanks.
And I was
Good.
just, it was just saying it was
Keep it
perfect.
going.
Yeah, no, I was saying it was perfect timing, right? That at the end of the day, how do I define myself, even though we have a show together and we have a company together? Am I defined by you as our co host, as a company? No, we're together. And Susan came up, I was saying, it's a concept of declaring who we are versus defining, which is not the same. And she says in Western culture, it doesn't teach us how to say who we are without our roles. Yes, Susan, absolutely. We have been wired and wired, like Raquel has been sharing so much. Genevieve, look at the comments coming in. Childhood insecurities linger. It's hard to fight off sometimes. Head up, smile, and show love. So I asked them the question, sis, when you came off, like, where do these disempowering conversations come from if we are, having these, low vibrational conversations? And she's just like, hey, insecurities are here. And Colleen is sharing with us, I've discovered that I have a real value outside of my family and my job. It's self-discovery of worthiness. Ooh, this is where Raquel and I wish we had these really great, like, sound effects. I want the little, like, bing, like drop the bomb.
Wow.
Yeah. Great, 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 great guys tonight. I love it. I think we hit on a topic that I think is important for a lot of people.
Mhm.
What else
Mhm.
do you want to continue on that you're seeing and what people are writing?
So I think it's great what everyone's writing. I just think for those people that may not understand how you got there. So if you could type in the
Mm.
chat briefly, please do not write a novel. Please briefly write how you got there. Okay? Not a whole novel. We've got guest spots for that. But definitely come on and tell us how. But as we unpack those two questions, some people, or for me, it comes up exploring who you are beyond your roles. Identify personal values and your passions and beliefs that are independent of any external factors. So what are your personal values? What are you passionate about? And what I'm finding is a lot of people don't know what they're passionate about. They don't know what lights that fire, that flame under them. They really don't know. So that's why it's called introspection, taking some time to spend with yourself to identify your personal values, your passions, and beliefs that you hold that are independent of any external factors.
Mm.
Okay?
Well,
What
that's a
brings
lot.
you joy when no one is watching or no one is expecting it? What brings you joy when no one is watching and no one is expecting it? And I know there are a lot of people that will say, with family brings me joy. That's great. But the question says, what brings you joy when no one is watching or no one is expecting anything? What is it? See,
All
because
right, we
that's
got
all
two. We
about
got a lot
you.
because you're putting a lot in there. So people are answering some of your other questions first. So we're gonna start with you asked, some of the other things. So Susan's
So
answering the
what I want
question
to
of,
know is, listen, guys, going on and a lot in there.
oh,
No, I'm going to say when I'm talking, as I tell my students when I'm talking, you gotta listen quickly. Lifelong learning. See, you gotta listen. You gotta learn how to listen quicker, right? So these are questions, and they're about you. They don't have to word it the way I word it. But Susan put lifelong learning. Wow, I love that. Training, therapy, coaching, because I'm interested. See how simple that was? Susan hit boom, boom, boom. This is what it is. Lifelong learning. And she doesn't necessarily mean in school, unless she does. I know Susan, I don't want to do school, but life, as long as you are alive, you will always be a lifelong learner. Always going to be learning something and doing trainings and self improvement, self growth, therapy, coaching, whether you are giving therapy or you are in therapy. It's just about always growing who you are as a person and developing who you are. That's what it comes down to. I like learning also, Susan. I don't know if I will necessarily want to do it in school anymore, me as a student, but I'll be a student of life, not a student of XYZ University. But maybe one day, who knows, that may change. Because there is one thing, I'll be very honest with you guys, there's one more degree that I want to get, a master's in sports psychology. So now I've put it out there in the atmosphere. But that's one thing I'd like to do, get a master's in sports psychology. Genevieve, joy for me is helping and serving. That's so fantastic. Do you see how these ladies have just things that are simple, but it brings them joy, lifelong learning, therapy, coaching, helping, serving, just simple things. Sometimes we find the greatest joy in the simplest things. Just taking a
I
walk
was just thinking
in the
that.
park. And if you have a, yeah, right? What do you find
Yep.
joy in, sis? Let me throw it to you so I can have
Yeah, it
some
was just
water
so
in my
funny because
belly,
I was
too.
just thinking, I'm like, Joy, she's like helping with surfing, and I'm new, like brand new 2025. For those people who know me a lot, it occurs. I'm busy, and I'm busy a lot. I just am. I'm just busy, busy, busy a lot, and I've been finding so much joy from the end of last year, and definitely adding this year, like just sitting quietly, like. And the other day, it was like in the bed, like I was in my bed by myself and I had a cup of tea and that was it. Like I heard the chatter, I heard the things. There's always something. My mind's always like, you could be, right? But like finding that joy for myself to allow myself just to be. And I'm finding it everywhere now.
Mm,
Since I'm in the busy, because I'm up to a lot of projects and a lot of things, I'm finding those spaces that I could just be. As simple as being in my car. Like I'm in my car a lot, and then I'm just like shooting over to a space where I can be by a tree. I'm parking like when I go to
mm,
Publix somewhere else for that moment when I notice I'm on autopilot and I'm like, wait, I don't even want to go into Publix over, Publix, for those people who don't know, is a big giant supermarket for those people outside of Florida and other southern places. Um, yeah, so I'm finding like that's fun. It's really joyful. Like, where can I park? Where can I be? You know, um, it was really rainy. I went to New York in December, and I know you guys maybe not like it, but it was this rainy, misty day, and it was just joy to just sit and have a cup of coffee and look out the window and watch like the rain. So just simplicity, real simplicity.
mm. Yeah, absolutely love it. I think it's great. Thank you for sharing, everyone. That's amazing. So, there's a question some of us have been asked. What is your life for? Beauty, goodness, or truth? Mine's truth is getting to the heart of the matter. And that's from Susan. Wow. What's your life for? I don't think anyone's asked me that. I like it though.
It's a great. I know where Susan got that from,
What is your life
because Susan
for?
and I have
Hmm.
done a lot of, yeah, personal
Wow.
growth and
Beauty,
development together,
goodness,
and
or
that is one of the
truth?
questions.
So wonderful.
Ooh, look at you, got Markel smiling,
That's awesome.
Susan. So from a beautiful, beautiful course we
I've
took,
I've I've
and
never
it
heard the
was like
question,
that, and then
so
you get, yeah,
I'm a lifelong learner.
I
So
love it.
that's a new question. What is my life for? I like it. I like it. And I know you guys are like, so are you going to answer? No, I am not. My life is for what God has determined. And He is determined for me to be an educator. He is determined for me to be an educator of teaching people how to be empowered and tap into it because it's already there. So my life is for. My life is for
Oh,
serving Him. Okay, thank you,
Susan
Susan.
sharing.
Great
Thanks, Susan.
question. Great question.
Yeah,
Absolutely love it.
it is.
Now, we want to hear, like, I just want to switch gears for a second and um, ask this one question.
Go for it.
How does your authentic self influence your choices and relationships? And these are going to be some heavy questions because it's a heavy topic. So
Mm,
I can absolutely ask that a question again. How is your authentic self, how does your authentic self influence your choices and relationships? See, I'll go first because I know Reg is typing it in the chat so everybody can see it. How my authentic self influences my choices and relationships, because if anything outside of who I am and my beliefs, and they don't mesh, they don't coincide, or I get a sense that this is not a choice that I should be making or a relationship. And let me be very clear. When I say relationship, it doesn't just mean something intimate relationship like girlfriend, boyfriend. It could be a business relationship, a just a mutual, I just met you kind of relationship. We're getting to know each other. We want to enter into some type of collaboration. If I feel or I get that sense in my spirit that this is not going to work, I pull out of it. Whereas before, years ago, I'm like, well, I don't know. Let me just try it first and make sure. Now I am very in tune. And when I get my spidey senses or my God senses start tingling, I'm like, no, this is not for me. This is not where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing, and who I'm supposed to be doing it with. And when I mean who I'm doing it with, please don't take it to the extreme. Take it where you want to, but I know what I mean, and you know what I know what I mean. So that's how my authentic self, because that's something I used to ignore before. It's not that that wasn't there, that little, tingling, that voice telling me. It's just I ignored it. And with growth, I've learned to listen to that voice because it's never led me wrong. And now I listen to that voice. Am I perfect and listen all the time? No. But then when I don't listen and something happens, I don't beat myself up about it. I look at it as that's a lesson, right? And I
yes.
do like this. Lesson learned. I don't need to repeat that class.
I like to
Does that
call
make
it,
sense?
yeah, no, I love to, this is something that I've been working on for years, and it's that God-given intuition. We all have it. Like Raquel was saying, that spidey sense. It might come out physical, right? It might, it. You get that. Some people get goosebumps on them. Other people I get, when I know it's my authentic self and it's like spot on, I get these goosebumps, like these chills go through my body, like, ooh, like
Mm,
when I know, and this is like I'm honing into that, it's that gut, that like almost like a stomach ache, like something's not right, or I get a different kind of chill up my neck. Oh, I can feel it right now. Like here, it's right, right. This is my authentic self. It's my own sense of yes, right? And because it's like what I'm saying is truth for me, when it's not, when I'm doing what you're saying, when I'm doing like breaking that value, that belief, that boundary, my eye twitches. I learned
wow.
that a long time ago, and it's still something that's still. So I'm a physical person. For other people, there's
Hmm.
other things, but for me, physically,
Right.
and I was having a conversation today and my eye twitched. So now it's distinguishing, is it something in me or is it the energy over there? So I was like,
Hmm.
I slowed down. I was quiet. Susan wrote about being an incredible keen listener. Like, so I love that, how she picked up on the question because she's an incredible keen listener. And I realized it's the energy over there. And it was like a warning signal for me, like,
Mm,
conversation needs to end, time to go. Now, that, guys, like Raquel is saying, is something that is, like Susan said, is a lifelong, I choose to, and I've had, you know, coaches and I've had people, and I still look into all of that from YouTube and people I know that have a much stronger expertise on that. And then I connect and just do my own work on that. So like reflecting and seeing that. So I really love that, you know. So of course it affects your choices in your relationships. Because if I'm not, like, not in anything, a boundary, a value, a belief system, or any of it, you know, lots of people know me. I get angry, I get defensive, I'll cut you off, I'll walk away, like really like all that nasty stuff, right? Like all that nasty stuff about myself. Or it'll be like withdraw, cry, all that mental, you know, stuff, which is rare. I mean, it's really rare now, but it is, you know, it's really, and this is a year, guys, this is 2025, and everybody's like, you know, 2020 thrive, you know, like, you know, thrive in 2025. This is really the time, right, to get to know you and really, like you said, get that spidey sense, get to have that intuition, that connection to source, whatever that is for you. So I love that. I'm, you know, oh, good, Susan, when I am authentic in the company of others, I vibrate and they get it. I'm, every time I've not followed my gut protests, and I've been deeply sorry. Her gut protests, and she's deeply sorry. I've been with
We
Susan.
all we all get it, right? And we all get it. Different modalities are
Yes,
used to transmit that message to each of us. The question
yes.
becomes, have you learned to pay attention,
Mm,
or are you ignoring that? And that's something we need to pay attention, right? For me, I'm getting better at it because I recognize who it is that's sending me the message and telling me, and I'm more in tune than I was years ago, right? But that's the point of life, to live, grow, experience, change, evolve, whatever word you want to use. It's absolutely fine. But we've got to start to get in tune with us. Reg has the goosebumps in different places, and it means something different. The twitching of the eye means something. So she's got physical. Susan starts to vibrate. I love it. And they get it. What's interesting to me is that they get it. So people get it. And every she
yep.
doesn't her gut protest. And she gets that. So she gets something physical too. You guys, during this next
Yeah.
week, we're gonna start giving you guys homework. Right. But so pay attention to your body. Pay attention to messages that it's received. It's going to get something. Pay attention to it. Maybe a voice. Maybe someone will walk by with a shirt. Whatever that is. We need you to start paying attention. Okay? Pay attention to when your authentic self is speaking and sending you messages and signals, whatever mode that comes in. So, can y'all do that for yourselves? You're not doing it for us. Remember, this is about identity. So, do it for yourself. Pay attention this week. And then you'll be able to drop us messages in our Facebook group. Reg, what's the Facebook group? So they can drop us and let us know what's
Oh,
happening
yes.
and
If
what
you
took
find
place.
us on Facebook, it's Rise and Thrive Together Community. Rise and Thrive Together Community. So you'll see our beautiful logo that's up there, or it's Rise and Thrive Together Now. It's like www, you know, like that. But you'll find it, and then you've got to enter your way in. So I put the question out there, and I would love, because time is flying. It's already 40 minutes. It's like, you
I
know, pay
know.
attention to your body, inner self, to when your authentic self is speaking. So like I meant inner self, like inner, you know, if you have an inner voice, or like your body, whatever that is, to, you know, to when your authentic self is speaking. Now you've got this, you know, show, you can, you know, keep on replaying and put it there, but we love for you to, you know, jump into our community, because I'm going to throw that in there as well and start this conversation really rolling. And as we're finishing up, sis, before you do your beautiful way, We've got that book. Absolutely, guys. It is an opportunity to have some of those questions, right? Having those questions that you can reflect on. And it's our Rise and Thrive Together journal. So it's weekly reflections based on 52 questions, a question a week, or you can do them any way you want. But we've created a question a week with a couple of pages so that you can reflect on it. And then we put some inspiring quotes by the four
And
of
where can
us.
they find it?
Oh, okay, guys, get on Amazon. Amazon.com/rise, thrive together journal. So if you even just go onto Amazon and write Rise and Thrive Together journal, it'll come up. Super affordable. Um, Super excited. So many people have been reaching out to us. Raquel got hers. If it's not your jam and you have something else, how about, what would it look like for those who like to give joy by helping others and supporting others? You get double support. You get to support somebody else who might want to, that might be a gift for them, and you support us because you are incredible people that are interested in these conversations. But I do want to say, because we don't have the
Right.
promo,
Right.
Raquel has an incredible guest coming next week to really dive into this. So Raquel, you want to just share that a little bit before we kind of wrap the whole thing up about who's coming on next week?
No, I don't. But I do want you to tune in
Yeah.
because the incredible guest will be here. I met her, we connected, and she's coming on to talk about identifying your authentic self. So that'll get you to tune in. I do want to add in, if you already have the Rise and Thrive Together journal, please leave a review on Amazon. Write a review. It doesn't have to be a novel. That seems to be my big word. And just tell us about it, what you like, whatever it is. We value reviews. So thank you so much for writing a review. And if you're in the process of getting yours, once you do, please write a review. We truly, truly, truly appreciate it. So thank you so much. And it is always a pleasure being here with you, sis. Even though I got
Always.
kicked off several times, but I understand why that happened. See, so it's not a big thing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We really and truly do appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for your support. If you are interested in being a guest on Rise and Thrive Together, please feel free to drop us an email, info@riseandthrivetogether.com. You can also just go to our website, riseandthrivetogether.com. We are excited to continue this conversation next week with a special guest. And remember, as I always say, or as we always say, together we can rise and thrive. Till next time.
A world filled with